Hello everyone, welcome to Learn Data Structures and Algorithm in Python course. In the previous video, we have seen what is dictionary, how to create a dictionary, and how we can loop through a dictionary. And we have explored some methods, dictionary methods, right? Now, in this lecture, will be some basic problems on dictionary. So let's start. Our first problem is we will be given a string. Will be given a string. Now we have to find the frequency of each character in a given string, right? Means, so here you can see this string is given. Now the frequency of p here is 1, means there is p is once here, right? But r is repetitive. R is occurs here and here, so the frequency of r is 2. Then frequency of o is 1 because there is 1 o here. Now frequency of g is 2, and then frequency of a is 1, then frequency of m is 2 because it is present in this place and this place also. And similarly for I, frequency is 1, for n frequency is 2. So we have to return frequency for each character. Now how to do this using this dictionary or map? Now here you can see, if you observe carefully, you can see, so this left hand side, this part, this p, it will be remain constant every time. Let's say there are 3 p's or 4 p's here, right? Now the frequency will be vary. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, right? It could be anything. So this number could be anything, but this p will be always constant, right? What I mean, we can consider this p, this characters, as key and this as value, because value are basically changing but key is constant, right? For that we can choose each character as key of our dictionary. Now let's see how we can do this. So what we'll do first, we'll create a dictionary. We'll create a dictionary, right? We'll create a dictionary. Now loop through this we'll loop through this string. First will be at 0th character p. Now first we'll be checking, let's say it is dc dictionary, okay? Now first we'll check if p present in this dictionary or not. If it is not, then we'll create a new key called p, then add the value 1 because it is only occurring once, right? Then move to will be moved to the next position, r, okay? Then we'll check again, is r present in this dictionary? If yes, then we can do other operation, otherwise we'll add this and the value will be 1, okay? Till now it is clear. Now the next thing, now our pointer is at o here, right? It's at o. Now we'll check if o is present here. No, right? Then we'll add this item, okay? So you can see p is once, r is once, and o is also 1. Now the next thing, we'll be moving our pointer to here, g. Now we'll check if z is present or not. No, right? Z is not present. Then we'll write g and add the value to 1, okay? Now the next character will be moving here and we'll check, is r present here in this dictionary? Yes, it is present, right? Now what we'll do, I'll already placed with 1, right? Now what we'll do, whatever the previous value will be incremented by 1, right? Will be incremented by 1, means r occurs here, previously r occurs here. So when we get r again, we'll increment the previous value by 1, okay? Now this will become 2. Now we'll move our pointer. We'll move our pointer to here, A. Okay. Now we'll check if A is present here or not. No, right? So we'll add A as 1. Okay. Now we'll be moving here at M. Now we'll check if M is present here or not. No, right? Then we'll add M and add value to 1. We're done. Now we'll be moved to the next character. Again it is M. Now we'll check if M is present here or not. Yes, it is present, right? Then what we'll do, will whatever the previous value will increment with by 1. Okay, so this is done. Then we'll move our pointer to I. Then is I present here? No, right? I is not present. So we'll add I and add value 1. Okay, then we'll move to next pointer. Next is N. So is N present here? No, right? Then we'll add N here. Okay, then we'll move our pointer to G, right? Pointer to G. Then we'll check, is G present here? Yes, G is present here, right? So then we'll update this value of G to whatever the previous value, we'll add 1 with it. So this is how we can find. Now you can see the result will be P will be 1, then R will be 2, then O will be 1, G will be 2, A will be 1, M will be 2, and N will be 1. So this is our answer, right? This is our answer. Now how we can do this? How we can check? How we can check if it is present? If it is present, then whatever the previous value will update increment by 1, otherwise we'll add this value by 1, right? For the first time we'll replace with 1, otherwise we'll update it by 1. So how to do that? First, for do that, we'll check. What will check? What will check? We'll check if our character, in this dictionary, let's say DC, if it is already in dictionary, then how to get the value of it? To get the value, we have to write the dictionary, then the name of the key. The name of the key would be this character itself, right? This could be variable, right? Then whatever the previous value, previous value, to get the previous value, we'll write the char and we'll increment this by 1. Means we are updating this thing. So whatever value present in this key will be updated by, first we'll get the value at it, then we'll increment by 1. So that will what we'll do. Or otherwise, if it is not present, if we try to enter for the first time, then for else what we'll do, we just create a key char, then we'll just add 1 to it. So for the first time, we'll do this, add this by 1. Otherwise, if it is already present, whatever the previous value, this is the basically the previous value, then we'll update this by 1. There is other way we can do this same thing. If we don't want to use this if else condition directly, what we can do, we can just update this, let's say DC of char. Okay, then we can use another method to get the value of it. What is this method? This is called get method. Get, then whatever the character value, char. Okay, now if it doesn't find the character, that particular character, for the first time it will definitely not find the character. Then when it will not find character, we have to provide some default value. Let's say we'll say 0. Means if it doesn't find this character, we'll consider this 0. Means the character is present 0 times, right? So that's how we can get the previous value of it, Now we'll just add 1 to it. So that is the thing. So this is, in short, we can do, right? Then we don't have to check that if else condition. We can directly do this thing. First it will check for this character is present or not. If it is not, then it will replace with 0. Then 0 plus 1, initially it will be 1. And after that, let's say the frequency of this character is 3, then the previous value could be 3, then we'll update it by 1, then the new frequency will be 4. So that's how we can do this. Now let's go to our VS Code and try to uh, write a program for it. First, let's consider a string. Let's say str equals to programming. Okay. Now let's create a function def and name it as, let's say, find frequency. Okay. Now it will take a string. And what is the first thing? First thing, we have to consider a dictionary. We have to create a empty dictionary, right? So let's name it as dc equals to empty. Okay. Now we'll be considering this string, right? We'll be looping through this string character. So let's run a follow for char in str. Then we'll check. So if we go by this theory, so then what we'll do? First we'll do if, check for if this char in this dc. We'll check if this character, this key is present in this dictionary or not. If it is there, then we'll just update by the previous value by 1. So then dc of char will be equals to dc of char plus 1. So we are just incrementing this value by 1. Else what we'll do, for the first time we'll put this value to 1. Okay. Now at last we'll be returning this dc. Okay. So this is the program for it. This is a pretty simple program. Now let's take arrays equals to find frequency, and let's put str into it. Now if we try to run this and let's try to run this, now you can see p is once, r is twice, o is once, g is twice, a is once, m is twice, I is 1, and n is 1. So this is basically the correct answer. Now if we write this way, then what will be our problem? Then what will be our solution? So our solution, let's comment this out, or this whole function itself. Let's comment this out. Okay. Now remove this thing. Okay. Now we can directly write it. We can just ignore this if else condition. We can write char dc of char equals to, then dc dot get. First we'll get the character, and if it is not, so here you can see this is suggesting some default value. If it doesn't find anything, you can put anything, like you can put 10, 20, whatever the initial value you want to. So here I am putting 0, means if it doesn't get anything, so by default you put it 0, then plus 1, then whatever the previous value, update by 1. So what will happen, for the first time it will check for this character, then it will get nothing. So this whole thing will be become 0, right? Then 0 plus 1 will be 1. So for the first time it will be replaced with 1. Now if we try to run this, it will basically give you the same result. Okay. Now hope you understand how we can get the frequency of all characters in a string. Now let's look at our next problem. In the next problem, what we have to find? We have to find all the duplicate characters in a given string. So let's see, this is a given string. So in the previous example, we have seen how we can calculate the frequency of each character, right? So here what we get? We get P is once, then R basically twice, then O basically one, G is twice, then A is basically once, then M is twice, right? And I is once and N is once, right? Now here you can see this is repetitive elements, right? These are repetitive elements, right? Now we can directly say this, these are duplicate elements, right? These are present twice here. Okay, these are okay. A is not duplicate elements. Sorry, it's my mistake. Right. So these are basically duplicate characters R, G, and M. Now you can see if we try to calculate the frequency of each character, then the next thing is very simple. What we have to do? We have to go through each key value pairs. We have to go through each key value pairs, and we have to check if the value, if this value is greater than 1, then we can say this is basically duplicate characters, right? So if the value for each key value pairs, if the value is greater than 1, then we can say this is a duplicate character. And then we have to put this inside a set or a array. We can put inside a set or an array. Here I put an inside a set, you can put inside an array, right? So the previous first step is the previous problem, and the next thing is basically we have to check the value, if the value is greater than 1 or not. Now let's try to do this thing. So this is basically same. Then what we have to do, next thing we have to create another function. Let's say there we have to like find duplicate. We have to create another function. It will create dictionary, right? Then what will check? We'll check first, we'll iterate over this dictionary. So we'll run a for loop for key, then val in uh, dc dot items. So it will return us key values as tuples, right? Then we'll check if this val is basically greater than 1, then this key we can add inside an empty array or an empty string. Let's take an array. Let's take arr equals to empty. Then if the when the value is greater than 1, then we can add this key to this arr dot append key, right? So this is the thing. So this is the thing. Now here this will not the raise, this will be dc. Okay, then for result things we have to call this function find duplicate dc. Okay, means what are you doing? First we are just finding the frequency of each character, find the frequency of each character, then it will return us a dictionary, right? Then to find duplicate we are just putting this dictionary to it, we are just providing this dictionary to this function, then it will iterate over this dictionary and it will return us an array, return us an array, right? Now if I try to print this, it will be giving us. So let's release the thing and open it integrated terminal. Now if we try to run this, now I can see this is giving me three characters R, G, and M. So here you can see R, G, and M. So I hope now you have understood how we can use dictionary to find this frequency of characters, right? These are basically very basic problems so that you can understood about this dictionary. So hope you have understood. In the next lectures we'll be solving some more problems on diction. So thank you.